I just screwed that up. Oh my goodness. Okay, I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Um, and I'm too bright. Hold on. Let me put my... I don't have my mouse tonight because... let me do the intro and try to adjust my lights. Let's see if this works. No. Well, I have just messed up everything. Okay, so there you go. Michelle is backstage. This isn't the way I thought I was going to start, but I don't know if y'all can tell, I'm still looking really bright on when I'm looking at my TV. So, am I too bright? Let me pull some lights off. See if that helps some. I'm going to have to end up adjusting it as I go through the night anyway, because as the sun goes down. So, hello. Hello, my silky friends. If you are new here, this is Silky Southern Tea, and I am a disaster tonight. I have Michele Barton. We are going to talk about some corruption. And because I don't have my mouse, and here's the reason, okay? Here's the reason I don't have my mouse. Because my laptop only has, it's older, like it's been upgraded on the inside, but it is, it only has like 2 ports to use, and I've got my microphone in one, and my son is letting me use his camera, which I still look so bright. But anyway, I'm using his camera. Hopefully it's going to be better. Y'all tell me. If it's not, I can yank it out and fix this quick. I want to say hello to everyone real quick. Phil Bond, hello. Jinxie, thank you for being here. Samantha Springman, how you doing? Deja Vu. Mark, I'm gonna kill this. I know. Mark Macaluso. Macaluso? Is it Macalusa? Macalusa? Luso? I know. You had surgery today. You probably think you're hearing voices. I hope you are doing well. If you fall asleep, no hard feelings. Okay, let me go on down here. Like I said, it's going to be slower doing it this way. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm trying to scroll. So I'm going to try to keep up with your comments, but just know it's going to be harder for me today. Somebody tell me, is it really bright? Is it just my TV, or is it really bright? Because I'm looking at 2 things. It's dark on my screen and bright there. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's go ahead and bring on Michele. Let's not leave her sitting back there. Let me see if I can not screw this up. There we go. There we go. Hey, Michele, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to center myself, but I want everybody to see Tanner too, so.
Yeah. Let's
We're
get
sharing the screen.
It's what?
We're sharing the screen.
Yes. Let's see if I can make it different. Let me see if I can get you. There we go. I can see you better.
There you
They
are.
can probably see my nostrils now.
Hey, that was me the first time. I was like, oh, Lord.
Let's see. All right. I'm going to back up a little bit. I don't know what the problem is with this. Chinksy, you should teach phonics. Wouldn't that be a hoot? So, let me just ask the viewers a couple of questions. I know a lot of people are, it's a little bit early, but we do it when we can do it. And so, let me just ask y'all who are, it was supposed to be a members live on Sunday night, and it was not a members only, and it was absolutely wonderful. I really, really enjoyed it not being a members only. Um, so, what did y'all think of that? Did anybody? I know some of y'all. Jinxie was on panel. Some people were in here. I think. Um, I got a few comments. One wasn't so nice, but you know what? I know who you are, so I don't take it personally. First of all, I don't take anything personally. You know what? I just don't. I don't care enough to take it personally. Uh, Thank you, Phil. He says it was a great live. All right, so Michele, we talked about all this other information, and we talked about some audio. I worked when I tell you I worked all day on a 9-minute video. Like it's almost 10 minutes. But it was just crazy. It's crazy how long it takes to edit a video. But my life has been nutso. So I really, I want you to feel comfortable. And as we're going through this video, I've got some of the interview audio along with the written, so we can follow along. And but stop and say anything you want, okay? Tell us first how you been doing.
I've been doing wonderful. It's hot, hot, hot here in Texas. Like,
Yes.
hot. It's been at times unbearable. So lots of air conditioning and working. So I've been great. Yeah.
Yeah, you sent all of your hot Texas weather over to Alabama the last 2 weeks. It was awful. It's only I think it's in the 80s today instead of 100. So I'm wearing some clothes because the last couple of videos I've been pretty much naked.
Right? I know. I'm like, that's why I have my little rag. If you see me doing this, I'm like, and we have the air going, fans going. It doesn't matter. It does not matter here. So yeah, you can tell how tan I've gotten. I'm like, oh my Lord. I didn't realize how tan I'd gotten. But I'm out in the pool all the time, so.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a pool, so I am in here in a room that is not sufficiently. I've got central, but this room just it has a mind of its own, and so it's just been hot, and I've been by the fan blowing hot air all around me, and going out in public. This past week, especially questionably dressed. It's like, you know what? I don't even care what's hanging out. I'm hot.
I get you. Trust me. I'm right there.
Hey, Ruckus, how you doing?
Hi, Ruckus.
I'm not gonna say that online. What I was thinking, it's just Discord stuff, but it sounds like you had an interesting day, Ruckus. I'll just leave it at that. Some interesting conversations. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, and hey, Ruckus, would you please send me, when we were talking the other night on the live, you said something about having a like the emails that they sent you regarding Michele's case. I would love for you to forward those to me. I'd love to read them. If you don't want me to share them, that's fine. I won't share anything that people say don't share. But I am very interested in the responses that you got. All right. Let's see here.
And so am I. I want to see these. I want to see these responses. I want to see the cowards.
Yeah. Ruckus, it's silkyandSouthern@gmail. If I haven't given it to you before, I don't know if I have or not. If not, if you can't, you can hit me up in Discord and I'll give it to you. Yeah. So it's been a week. It's been a week. It's been a week of drama, Michele. You know.
Girl, let me tell you, I'm on the other side of drama with podcaster stuff, so I know.
Oh, are you?
I get the drama. You know
Yeah,
who went where and when. Yeah,
yeah.
it's been interesting.
Yes, it
Whew.
certainly has. And I was I was going through some of the stuff that we talked about on one of the podcasters that, caused you some grief. And anyway, we're working through that. And
Yes,
you are still expecting some more, just so I can keep people, in up to date on what's happening. You were expecting some more case files to be sent to you soon, in the next couple of weeks,
yes.
maybe.
Well, we have reached out to the attorney that the podcaster sent the files back to. And as of now, he has a family medical emergency, but he does have them, and he will be discussing that with us when he gets back to his office. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
so let's just hope he does the right thing and gives them to us and not do the wrong thing like the podcaster did. So, let's hope that, he has some ethics.
Yeah. I hope he's got everything and that he shares everything that she
Yeah,
had. So, um,
yes. That was
you know,
mine. That was mine. Legally mine.
right, right.
Legally mine. That was all legally mine.
Yeah, that's something else, I
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. Y'all, I know a lot of y'all that are in the chat are creators as well. So y'all are well aware of the wars that go on between creators and podcasters. And I didn't expect this, Michelle. I didn't. When I started this channel, I had no idea what I was opening the door for. And I don't get it. I'll just be honest with you. I don't have beef with anybody because you know what? I've said it before. I'll say it again. If I don't care for somebody, guess what? I don't watch them. That's
Exactly.
it. That's it.
Exactly. Or
Everybody.
sure.
Yeah, and
Or
everybody. Exactly. Exactly. And everybody has an audience. And look, I would say some people, in my opinion, and I'm not just talking about true crime. I'm just talking about all of YouTube. Some people they're kind of crappy personalities. They're not nice people, but you know that when you watch them. Um and the thing is a lot of them have tons and tons of subscribers, and that's good because you've got a tribe. It's like I was telling a friend of mine the other day. You have a tribe. I've got a tribe, and some people have their own tribe. I don't want to be a part of that tribe, but
yeah.
so it's like there's no. The bottom line is there is no reason for all this fighting and fuming and
No. No.
it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. If you like somebody else, go watch them. By all means, just go watch them. Be happy. Go be
Yes.
happy. Be happy and blessed
Yes.
somewhere
Right.
else.
I know, right? I know. But they're not. So that just, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So whatever. Ruckus says I address BS and forget it. Yeah. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Exactly. And I try to, if I have any drama, I try to do it behind the scenes and never bring it up on here. So, whatever.
It's good. But
Whatever.
I expose it. Me, I expose them. As a mom, I expose when people do bad things. So no other family member has to go through what I've gone through. So I expose the bad people and warn people because I would want somebody to do that to me as a mom who lost their child. So that's
Right.
what I do. And but I expose their unethical behaviors.
Exactly. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a mom in your position. I
Yeah.
am pretty
Mhm.
sure in your position, I would be, mm, I don't even know. I don't even know if there's any words to how livid I would be and to what lengths I would go if I was fighting for my child. That's a whole different thing,
Yep. Yeah.
than this
Yes. And what you're
stupidity.
going through. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Ruckus. You're so funny. I don't understand people that have a problem with me. I'm a delight.
Delight.
Hey, you know what? I almost ordered a sweatshirt that said that, and I put it back in my online. I took it out of my online cart, and I thought, well, I'll wait a couple of weeks. I hope it's, but that's what it says. It just says I'm a delight, and I'm like, yeah, because people who know me get how really funny that is. Yeah, sure you
Yeah. That's awesome.
I am most days. I am most days, depending on who you ask.
Yeah. It's the
But
female.
anyway, yes, that's true, Samantha. Never cross a mama bear. And I want to tell you something. Michele is somebody you do not want to cross. Absolutely. I know you've been
Mhm.
through it. And I am going to try. Okay, to get into this case, I wanted to show some things. Let me try. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without my mouse. And again, Michele, just stop me. Let's see if this will play. Lord, I'm going to tell you what. Making this video, it gave me. I use CapCut a lot. And
Uh-huh.
CapCut, I think it threw up on itself this week. Or maybe
Look,
last week.
everybody's using it.
I don't know. It's like, what are y'all doing? I have a paid subscription to that, and I mean, good lord. But anyway, I had to outsmart CapCut and put this like in 3 different editors to get it to work. So I'm gonna part of this. Sorry, I got some hair in my mouth. Um, Part of this is a recap, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. And I mean, I don't know if you want me to play it and then go back, or you want to stop me. Either way is fine.
No, as it goes, yeah.
Oh, that's not it. That's my intro that wouldn't work before. I'm telling you, it's been a heck of a week.
Oh, I bet. I've heard some things that's going on.
Can you tell me my honest? I'm being so honest as best as I can.
Emergency. Oh my gosh, my friend is downstairs in my basement. And it's my friend is downstairs in my basement. And it says Blue Line 11992 West 00 North South.
How old is he?
He's 19.
19? Can you tell if he's
He does
breathing?
not sound distraught.
We don't know.
This what?
He does not sound distraught whatsoever. It sounds forced.
Yeah, it kind of does. And here's
Like hyper. Like, oh my god, I've got to act like I'm upset. And I know Marcus, and I know him. He would be bawling. He'd be bawling if there was no. I know Marcus. This was not. Mm-mm. But go ahead. Sorry.
no, that's fine. I was gonna say I don't know Marcus, but I did think that. And again, 911 call for those of you who do not know. This 911 call is 58 seconds, and it took you, what did you say, 9 years for them to release it?
Yes.
Yeah.
9 years. We got it 9 years later, and it appears to be edited. It's obviously
Absolutely.
edited. It's obviously edited. There's things that were left out. What we don't know. But that is not a 911. That is not a normal kid dead, a 19-year-old on somebody's floor. That is not a normal 911 call. And Marcus, anybody would be screaming, "Oh my God, my friend!" No, he's like forcing, like he's been practicing to make it sound like he's upset.
Yeah. I mean, and you would know better because I don't know him, but you would definitely know better about that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
obviously y'all know I mean, come on, 58 seconds. Let's say it has to have been edited. We talked about this, last time because any 911 call is going to last more than 58 seconds.
Even a car accident. Have you ever called the police
Yeah,
and witnessed a car accident or been in an accident? Oh
yeah,
my God, it's like you call 911 for that. It's forever. You're like, oh my God, okay. And I witnessed a man on the side of the road last year, and I thought he was dead. I literally pulled over and I came back around and I called police and they said, stay on until we get there. This was just a man who was laying on the side of the road. I didn't know him. I was scared that he was dead, but he had a car or bicycle. He was homeless and had a bicycle accident and fell and kind of hit his head, blah, blah, blah. But they had me stay on the phone until the police arrived at the scene. And that was a
yeah.
homeless man who was laying on the side of the road. It wasn't a 19-year-old. Can you do CPR? Are you doing this? Have you done none of that? And you're just, no, that's not, no, that is edited.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're not even saying stay on the line, until we get there. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, folks.
Oh, you're fine.
We can't tell.
Is his chest rising?
His nose is bleeding.
Okay. What is your name, sir?
His face is blue.
What is your
My name's Marcus Salazar.
Marcus what?
Salazar.
Mm-mm.
Okay, we'll get an ambulance on the way. All right.
I mean, and
Bye.
it's about to
Bye.
end, but that's it. What you listen to, those 58 seconds, that's it.
Yeah. And did you hear him? Oh, bye. Not, oh my God, my friend is dead on the floor. Can you come? And oh my God, you could tell he's already desensitized, which means he's already seen Tanner on the floor for several hours.
Yeah.
He knew ahead of time. Now he had to make the phone call and make it sound like he was upset. He was not upset. And then when he says, oh, bye. Seriously?
And you know what else gets me about that 911 call, Michele, is that why are they making Marcus do it? Why didn't the father, the mother, I think Carol said she was at home, whatever, something, but why are you not going to have a parent? Not that he's not capable of calling, but this is his friend.
Yes.
This is like, you don't put somebody on the phone and say, I mean, so it makes me wonder, were they just trying to see who's the most believable to do a 911 call?
Exactly. Because the parent probably couldn't lie. Because that would have been Jeff Linskook. He probably knew I couldn't get away with lying. But he was sitting there, you go call, I'll check him. Well, he had already taken a picture of him. And he already said that he'd gotten something to start working on him. So if you're already starting to work on him, why aren't you calling 911 when you go upstairs to get something to work on him?
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Go ahead.
Right. And I mean, everybody, I believe, especially, working in any kind of medical, but most people have had at least one course in CPR. And that's the first thing they tell you. When you see somebody, like, you respond to them and then you start yelling to somebody, call 911, and if you are by yourself, then you have the phone in one hand and you're still, starting compressions or whatever. So, yeah, this makes no sense to me.
None. That is, I waited 9 years for that. Okay, 9 years for that. That's it. That's all there was. I was so livid, and I'm like, that is most definitely edited. That's the first thing I said. That's edited. Yeah. And he is not upset. That is, and when you guys will see his some of his video statement. and you'll see how he's mad that he's there, and you'll see that. So that's ahead of what we're getting ready to see. But he's mad because he's there. Just like this, it was a forced, he's just acting. He's acting.
Yeah.
He's acting.
Well, and okay, nobody just said they, whoever, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Is not sure with this case. Okay,
Yeah.
in just a minute, we're going to play a little bit more, and then I'm going to use a news report that's going to explain the overall case to anybody who doesn't know, or if you're catching this on the replay and you're new to this, okay? So let me go on, because I'll just tell you, I don't even know what comes next.
It was at this house in the western part of Howard County where Tanner Barton was hanging out with friends back in 2012. According to this coroner's report, it was just after 2 in the morning when Tanner collapsed and died. Tanner's mom, Michele Barton, still can't believe her son is gone.
It's heart-wrenching. It's hard. You know, I'm angry. I'm so angry he's here because he was a fabulous kid. You know, he shouldn't be here.
Michele believes Tanner's friends who were with him that April night know more than what they're saying, including a friend who told police she saw Tanner collapse, checked his pulse, and thought he was snoring, so she went to sleep. About 6 hours later, she found him dead at the age of 19.
She knew something was up. Something was wrong with Tanner. You don't need to, you wouldn't check somebody's pulse if you didn't think that something was wrong with them. And 911 was not called immediately.
Autopsy reports show Tanner had THC and alcohol in his system, but he wasn't legally drunk. The coroner could not find what caused Tanner's sudden collapse and death, only that he was positioned in a way that cut off his air supply. Michele wants more toxicology tests.
Now, if we have to exhume Tanner, that's a hard one, but I do believe that we need to do it.
Tanner's case has captured the attention of many, including the group Families of Homicide Victims and Missing Persons, based in Colorado.
What stands out about Tanner's case is that there are, many people involved. There's a lot of inconsistencies throughout the case and the files.
Tanner would have been 25 years old next month. His gravesite shows just how much he loved the 4th of July.
He just always thought when he was little, oh, everybody's celebrating my birthday, Mommy, look. And the fireworks were going off. We're like, it's all for you, Tanner, it's all for you.
But this year and every year, there won't be any celebration until there's justice for Tanner. The Howard County Sheriff declined to be interviewed on camera, but says they are looking for leads, especially those with factual evidence. He says anyone with information should call their office at 765-456-2031. Reporting from Howard County, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right here for a second. Okay, so that was your basic recap. If anybody has any questions, I know most people here know the case, but hey, if you don't know the case, we are here for you. Don't feel like you're asking a stupid question. We've got Tanner's mom here, and so, hey, just do it. Hello, Velvet Underground, 4 Pits. Hey. Okay, so I noticed, well, actually, there's another one. I'm going to do another video and put them back to back of a follow-up interview. But for people who don't know, how long was it after? Now, this happened in 2012 in Kokomo. So how long was it? How many years before they officially closed the case?
It was 2018. So, yeah.
So 6 years. Okay. All right.
And then we closed it without new factual evidence, no new autopsy, no new toxicology, no actual factual statements. Remember, Howard County said we're taking, of course, it declined to be interviewed, which right there tells you suck. Sorry, but you suck as detectives and a law enforcement agency to decline being interviewed with the mom and who's asking for answers of their child's case. And then when they say, we just want factual tips. Okay, but you closed Tanner's case without any new factual information, just
Right.
theories.
Right.
But we
And
want the community to bring facts, but we're not going to use facts to close this case. We're just going to use some made for TV criminologist and cop, from national media. Oh, we're going to use what they have to say. And they had nothing to bring to the table. But they closed
exactly.
the case on that.
And I wanted to point out in that video that they said he was positive for THC and 0.063% is what he had in blood alcohol level, which is not even legally drunk. Now, but that's only one, okay? The other toxicology report has nothing on it. They said there's no THC and there's no alcohol. And I'll just go ahead and say it right now. There was no amphetamines in either one of those reports. Although, I did see on another news broadcast that they said, as we've talked about, they claimed that Tanner had used Adderall a couple of days before, but, and that affected it. Yeah, right, whatever. But there was no...
And this is what the detective told me. He said, this is what happened, Michelle. That Tanner took Adderall 3 days before he died, and that he had not slept, and that it put his heart in such an arrhythmia that 3 days later, it took him 3 days to die in a heart arrhythmia. Okay, let me just tell you, that kid, if you're in an arrhythmia that's going to cause you to die, you would know that you're in an arrhythmia.
Yes.
Because I get panic attacks. I have what they call now, it's called broken heart syndrome. That's what my cardiologist said, because I kept getting that, and it was after Tanner died, and he goes, that is true, Michelle. There is a broken heart syndrome. So I get that. And he would know, he would tell me, he would have told his mom, he would have told his coach, he wouldn't have been able to be on the football field with those irregular arrhythmias. He couldn't have, because he would have died on the football field. Why didn't he die on the football field? Why did he die at somebody's house where a veterinarian was there, who was a drug dealer or drugged out vet, whatever? Excuse me, in my opinion.
Yeah, Samantha says the Adderall would have been washed out of his system in 48 hours. Yeah.
Yes, and here's the other thing. There's no witness. And that's what I told him. I said, do you have a picture of him taking it? Do you have a witness? No, he just said it in his phone. He said he was a Zoom-in, which means he was on his way to a friend's house. Now, do you have factual information, a picture of my son taking it? Do you have information of somebody saying they provided it to him that night? You have my sister, who was with him that night, that said that he did not seem out of character, because when you take Adderall and you don't need it, you're hyper. That it does the opposite. And my son is so laid back, and my sister's a holistic doctor. She would know that. And so for them to say those kinds of things, and I'm like, okay, so where's the proof? Oh, well, we're just going with what Dr. Laura Petler said, and Cheryl McCollum, because they're, no, I told him, I said, they're national news media. They're made for TV peeps. Oh, well, we're just going to go with it, Michelle. We're just going to go with what they said. We believe them. Okay. All right.
And so I'm catching up. Nobody.
Sorry, you go ahead. I'm talking. You're reading.
Wait a second. I hit the wrong one. Yeah, that is okay. We'll get to that in just a second. Yeah, what's unalived him? Well, let's see. Let me just tell you really quickly. The family and several of the friends, family members, whatever, worked for a veterinarian named Todd Cooney, who had lost his license for a ketamine addiction. Now, back in 2012, remember, fentanyl wasn't all the rage. It was Special K, or ketamine, which is like a tranquilizer. Not as much as what they have out now, but it was very accessible. the vet was had lost his license, had just gotten it back in what, Michelle? It was only like
I think
six,
it was
7 months.
Yeah, August, and then Tanner died in April. So what, 6, 7 months?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And
there
he-
you go. And supposedly he wasn't there, but he was the first one that everybody called when Tanner collapsed, and they realized he wasn't going to make it. Even before they called 911, they called the vet. He was a
And the
close family friend.
and that is in his own words. He says that he was called, that Carol called him at 7:30 to ask about a dog, blah, blah, blah. She was driving into town. Well, you'll see. The statements are all conflicting because that's not what she said, and that's not what her statement said. But he says that at 8 o'clock she called him 8 in the morning and said that Tanner had died, and they're trying to get a hold of Michele, Tanner's mom and parents, and blah blah blah. I need a phone number, and 911 wasn't called until 9:24.
9:24.
So he said he was called at 8, but I don't believe he was called at 8 in the morning. I think it was way before 8 a.m. I think that they all knew it throughout the night that Tanner wasn't well.
Right.
He
Well,
had a medical condition.
and here's the thing, all right? And I was looking up stuff on ketamine. Ketamine processes through your system extremely quickly. I read one place where it says it works itself out of your system within a few hours, like 4 or 5 hours. So that is what, when I heard that, I was like, that explains why they may have known when he collapsed. He may have, they may have known he was on his way out, but if they felt like, or do you think, Michele, if they felt like there was nothing that they could do, and that he had passed or he was going to pass, do you think they were, that break in time, before they called, is just to make sure that they couldn't find ketamine?
Yes, I think they were waiting for it to get out of his system. Do I think that they knew he was dying? No, I think they just think he went to a K-hole. It's called a K-hole. I've learned all this. It's where you go into this deep dive thing where you basically are unconscious, but yet you're awake inside your body doing weird things or something. It's some psycho, like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not a drug person. But I think what happened was once he collapsed, they knew it because he had blood where he had wiped. So they knew something was wrong. That's why Michele states in her statement she thinks Tanner broke his nose going up the stairs. Now, but she never said that to police. But that will explain the blood on Tanner's hand because he was wiping his nose. So I think they knew he was in medical distress. I don't think he fell in the basement. I think he collapsed because Dr. Todd Cooney says that they found him in the family room, which the family room was upstairs. I think they called him, and I think they all got him down to the basement to make it look like he fell down the stairs, waited for the ketamine to come out of his system, and then they're just like, we don't know. We don't know what happened. He just collapsed at the bottom of the stairs. And because they put his foot on the step. His foot was on the step. And so when the dad took pictures, they're like, who would take pictures of a kid with a foot on the step? That would make me think that he had fallen and hurt himself. It wasn't funny.
Right. But yet they were treating this like a joke.
Yes, like it was a joke. Yeah. Sorry, I'm probably ahead of myself with this, so sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Samantha says they probably needed to try to stage things, clean house, so to speak. Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, they did.
And just so you know, they did in the morning when Michele got there. They told her that they were treating this as a crime scene, not an accidental overdose of anything. This was a crime scene. But yet, they didn't do the things that you would normally do at a crime
And I'm
scene, like
telling
tape
you,
everything off and, take everything, in little baggies. And yeah, they
do
didn't
any of
process
that.
it. No,
Mm-mm.
it's a crime
No.
scene, but y'all just, we're leaving now. It's a crime scene. Just keep that in mind. What?
And that's one thing I wanted. Maybe I could look. I'm sure they got rid of everything because they told me to get rid of his clothes. But I'm wondering what evidence, because there's an evidence locker. I wonder what they actually did actually test, because my guess would have been after him questioning the pineapple juice container, why didn't they take that pineapple juice container and test the contents?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
it was mentioned. It's odd that the detective said, well, how long has that been in here? Who uses it? I mean, why would you question a pineapple? Why weren't you questioning the alcohol bottle? Which I thought was strange.
Of course, because I mean, who calls it a crime scene and then doesn't process it as one, unless you
Mm-mm.
absolutely have already had a heads up and you know that something's wrong, and so you're like, oh yeah, this is a crime scene, but
And
that
this was
makes
a
no
known
sense.
It was a known part. I didn't know it was known. So I want everybody to know my son wasn't a partier. He got a scholarship to play football at Marion University, which, if you know what Marion University is in Indianapolis, that's like, uh, it's a small private elite college. People that come out there, to get in there, you got to be highly intelligent. And my son played football, got a scholarship there, and was on the dean's list. And so it wasn't like he was some big partier. He was a fun, loving kid that just went to go to a friend's house to hang out because he was bored. And we know he was bored because he kept texting people on his phone, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey," it's like he was wanting to leave because I'm sure they were all drunk, and Tanner was waiting on his girlfriend just in case she called. But by his cell phone, you could tell that he was like bored because he was wanting to hang out with other people.
Yeah, and that's all that kind of stuff right there is in the we're gonna listen to some of it and go through some of the testimony or the interviews, but yeah, that's all in there. I think that's
Mhm.
something that Michaela says when I was reading through, there's like 60 something pages. And I was reading through that, and she's like, yeah, he keeps texting his girlfriend. And I mean, several people make reference to that. So, if you're going somewhere strictly to party, you're not planning on going anywhere. You're not bored,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that I'm not saying he was in college, and look, we all know college kids sometimes do what they want to do, but he wasn't. Clearly, being on the football team, they do watch their players.
Oh,
They keep up with the health of their players, and I mean, there he is, like
yeah.
nobody's gonna notice if he's strung out all the time. Of course
Yeah.
they would. Of course they
It-
would.
and they would, and then it's dead of heat because that was like one of the hottest summers ever in Indiana. I remember that when he played his freshman year, and oh my God, it was horrible. And I remember it was like 120 on the football field one day. 120, and that was just because of the heat. And imagine that and all your gear, and with being an offensive lineman, a big boy. Yeah, and but I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyways,
Yes.
um, but yeah, the kids in college, they would have noticed. He would have been so sick being out on that field from the heat. And his friends all told me, Michelle, he wasn't like that. And I knew he wasn't like that. Um, and if I'm not in denial, I will tell you that because I've been around my son, and he didn't even cuss. I mean, around me, he cussed like a couple times. And he goes, "Mom, I apologize, but I need to say a cuss word." I mean, that's how he was. So he's not going to be like one of those druggy, like thugs. He wasn't like that.
Okay, I'm going to bring up something that Samantha says also. I'm sure there. I'm sure there were kids at the party that
Mm-hmm.
weren't talked about who were sent away before authorities and medical personnel got there too. Okay, so what do you know or what have you heard? Okay, because look, I know we don't have it in writing, but you know the kids knew who was there, who
Yeah.
wasn't.
Well, the prosecutor told us. The prosecutor told us because we're like, because we're like, we need to find out there are other kids. He goes, there were other kids they weren't there. Okay, he didn't say they were there. He said there are kids whose families, mom and dads, have lawyered them up, and we can't talk to them. He goes, there are people that we want to talk to, but we can't talk to them. There are kids who we want to speak with, but because their parents lawyered them up that day, we can't speak with them.
See, I don't understand that. I thought the police could question anybody who had a suspected involvement, attorney or not. Yeah, the attorney
Yeah,
would have to be present, but so I
yeah.
don't understand that.
Well, because then that means that there would have been other people involved and there would have been more exposure. And these people were very connected to, because they were motorcycle, they were in a motorcycle club, but it was more the charity kind of club, like the rich boy club kind of thing. And a lot of the police officers and the higher ups in the community were a part of that motorcycle club. So, when you have those kind of connections, we're going to like push everything under the table. And especially Northwestern High School, they didn't want this, oh my God, a drugged out kid. Well, not drugged out because he wasn't drugged out, he was drugged. Um, we don't want that in our community. We've got all these businesses coming in. At that point, there was a lot of businesses coming in, and a lot of a few of the community leaders, let's put it that way, would relocate families in the Northwestern and Western community, and Northwestern being the number one place where they would put these, I'd say, bigwigs, because I know I worked at General Motors in Kokomo, and the president or the manager that came in, they relocated them to Northwestern. So, it's the bigger, the high money, they bring those in. So they don't want that stained and soiled reputation. So the police are going to help them shut it down.
And we know that there's no corruption in Kokomo, Indiana, right?
None.
I mean, all you Delphi people, that Kokomo and Lafayette and Flora, like they're all mentioned. All these places come up in the Delphi case, and so we're talking about, the same area, the same brotherhoods. Yeah, I said that. The same brotherhoods, the same, even motorcycle groups, the same family members, okay? Small towns, people related to people, good old boys club. I mean, it literally can be any or all of that combined. Not necessarily one, specific thing, but you got a lot of groups. And then, I mean, of course, you got you got your judge that lost his, that got disbarred over there for his shenanigans. So, I mean, this is what we're talking about. So, we're talking about a veterinarian with connections to a lot of these people, a lot of the same groups, a lot of the same buds. And, he's already lost his license, his ability to practice once because of ketamine. And then, Michele gets information later on from, kind of a whistleblower. Hey, there is ketamine missing from the vet clinic, correct?
Yes. Yes. And it was missing. And they had witnesses who seen this doctor take the ketamine box of ketamine from the UPS driver and not log it in, and took it out to his truck. This was just a couple months before Tanner died.
I mean, to
And
me that
vet,
says,
go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, I was just, agreeing. To me, that just,
Mhm.
it shines the spotlight on guilty.
And
What?
go ahead. Sorry.
No. You go ahead, because I'm kind of rambling. Like my brain is just,
It's there's so much. And what I was going to add is, it's just not like this doctor used it at the clinic. He was found in his own home with a needle in his neck, overdosed from ketamine. That's how he got, he had to go to rehab. It was in his own home. His family found vials and needles of ketamine in his own personal residence. So if he's going to do it at his own personal residence, he could do it at any residence. It's not like people are like, oh, he would never take it out of the clinic. He just usually, no, he was found in his home, unresponsive with a needle in his neck.
you know, to me, I'm just telling you, I wouldn't want a veterinarian like that working on my animals. They're like your children.
Yeah, you should hear some of the things he had done. And I'm sure you read the report that I sent, the actual, the state of Indiana report against him and the things he had done.
Sleuthing Squadron TV has a good comment. Check if any of law enforcement's kids were there. Have you heard anything about that? Any rumors?
They won't tell us anything. All I know is somebody who lived down the street said when police got there, detectives and first responders, they said that they knew that there were drugs involved, and they didn't want Howard County or Northwestern to be like basically blackballed in the community. They wanted to keep its reputation up there. So that's what we heard there. Law enforcement kids, no, I don't know. But I do know that family was very close with the liaison officer, who was really weird speaking with Marcus. I seen a lot of their comments. This was before I blocked him. You're going to stalk these people a little bit. But I seen some things, and I'm like, it's kind of cringy, let's put it that way. But I think that man was the one who helped that family, because he got transported. Because usually when you get promoted, you get promoted within your community. You know what I mean, in your county. But he got sent to another county, a whole nother county. So, which is odd, to be a police officer, which is very odd. Usually you stay in your county and community. Once you hire in that law enforcement agency, that's where you stay. You don't really go, unless you get a promotion, you don't usually move sideways. But he moved sideways somewhere, and it's like they got rid of him real quick.
Yeah, that's a little sus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Let's see. Samantha says, I believe I may have heard something about bad speedball going around about then. Could they have mixed the ketamine in the so-called bad speedballs?
I don't even know what it is. I don't know what it is.
I don't either.
All I know is there was pineapple juice, and Michele mentions that in her statement and says, and then I had some of the pineapple juice mixture. She goes, I had a fruity drink, and then I had, Tanner had a beer, and then I had a fruity drink, and then I had some of his pineapple juice mixture. Which I thought was very strange. And I know I was told by a death investigator that to look into the ketamine, basically, because a lot of these kids a lot of people put ketamine in pineapple juice because it's ketamine salty, and then the pineapple juice is bitter, so it cuts it, and it's not, you don't get that salty flavor when you take a shot. So that's why I thought the pineapple juice was so important, the way he questioned her about it.
Yeah. And
Because
I have got a little bit. We're going to listen to parts of Michaela's because, this is long. These are very long. And at some point, we probably will go through the whole thing. But this is in her own words. I do want to say this. Nobody says if I ever die with ISP, investigate. Mainly because I've never been to India. Ain't that the truth?
No kidding.
Okay, all right, okay. Samantha says, not Simon says, but Samantha Springman says, a speedball is an upper and downer mixed together into a ball. They melt them down and make a ball of the combination. Very lethal. Ooh, jeez. I can only imagine what that would do with your body.
Yeah, and I don't think what I think happened, honestly, because any bit of alcohol with ketamine is deadly. It really is. And I think with the little bit of alcohol Tanner had, I think they gave him like a vial. He didn't know. I mean, he probably just thought it was a shot.
Yeah.
Like a shot. And I think, that. And they gave him a chaser of pineapple juice. That's what honest to God, in my opinion, I think that's what happened. I thought maybe they said, here, try this. Well, he didn't know what he's doing. And it's been told to us through several people that those people at that house, the kids, would do ketamine. A lot of the kids, they'd go to that house specifically and do drugs.
Right.
So I don't think he did a speedball.
Yeah, because I mean, which even kind of negates the Adderall, amphetamine, because the problem was, and I think in the very first live that I did with Michele, we read the coroner's report and stuff like that, and he in there it basically says that he died of asphyxiation. Okay, positional. Mm-hmm. So when he fell, just to make a long story short, when he fell, he was in such a position that he could not move himself. Like he
couldn't position himself to breathe.
Right. And I mean that he had the froth in his mouth, and what happened is his heart became enlarged, and but that was not prior to the asphyxia. Mm-hmm. That is a result of the asphyxia. So
secondary.
Yeah, and that's what it says. So basically, he passes out and he can't breathe and he can't move to, like you would normally. Your body does that. Even if you're drunk, your body has enough sense if you're passed out, to roll, move a little bit, even if your mind doesn't know what's going on. Because if you didn't, how many people would, wake up dead after a night out with the girls? So there you go.
Then they said that, he, that's what ketamine does. It's a tranquilizer. It's a powerful drug used on large animals. Well, Todd Cooney is a large animal vet as well. And ketamine is used in surgery to immobilize you so you don't move. It's even for us, so you don't move during surgery. And that's what it does. It completely paralyzes you. That's why they got to put, you got to be incubated. You got to do all that stuff. Intubated. What is the word? Whatever the word is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're right. From the anesthesiologist. Right. So, but for him to just lay there and be tucked down, no. He suffocated because he could not bring himself up to breathe.
Yeah.
There was nothing in his system. Whatever was in his system was hidden, we know it was hidden because that's why the toxicology was conflicting for a reason. And we know that those, as told by the chief toxicologist at the forensic lab, that those samples could not have been Tanner's.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, so there you go. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and I I put morphine down as an allergy for myself, Michelle, because it does the same thing to me. I've had it twice, and what it does is it paralyzes me, but I am conscious. I don't know how to explain it, but I lay
I
there.
know.
I can feel all of the pain. I can hear everyone around me talking. Um, but I cannot move or talk or express to anybody what I'm going through. It
Oh,
is
that's
horrific. It is
oh.
horrific.
Mm,
And
mm,
so,
mm.
so when I was having a surgery, so now I just put it down as an allergy, and I'm like, no, just don't. But yeah, that's the same thing. So, I mean, that shows me that, okay, most likely Tanner wasn't conscious, but it shows me the way that it is. Even if your body wants to, like, you literally can't. There is no
Exactly.
way that you
Yep.
can move.
That's what it does. It completely immobilizes you. And I'm praying to God that he didn't lay there knowing any of this stuff. I pray to God I keep that's my biggest that's one of those night terror things that wake you up and you just, oh my God, I
Yeah.
can't imagine him just laying there and not being able to reposition himself to breathe, and just laying there knowing that he can't move, but he can't talk and he can't tell anybody, and that just, it's awful. It's an
I mean,
awful thing.
yeah. I can't imagine. I would hope being a tranquilizer like that it wouldn't have that effect. I mean, for me, morphine is more of a pain medicine, but I mean, yeah, I hope to God. I don't think he probably did know, consciously. I mean, the fuzz of your brain under that kind of thing. Now, they are saying, several people have said that ketamine is usually in a powder form, but it wasn't at the vet. I mean, they were using at the vet clinic, the ketamine that they had was injectable, not in powder, correct?
It's the actual, like, the medicinal ketamine that they, and it could be powder form. I mean, there could be powder form that they have to mix up. I mean, I'm not a drug person, so I'm sure there's many forms, and I'm sure that they had access to all the types of forms that it came in
Yeah.
within a vet clinic. So there could be where they have to give an animal powder form, or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible, but then if you think about that time period in 2012 and the Special K that everybody was using, why? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get a lot of things, but I don't understand why you'd
No,
want to do that to yourself. But
no.
that
I
was
stay
something
with
that,
beer.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
easy. It's simple. It's completely harmless. You little da da da.
yeah,
No, I stay with mm-mm.
right. But back in the day when Special K, they were putting it in people's drinks. If you remember that,
Yes,
and they were
yes.
drugging people like, they use
And
different
then taking
things
them.
now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's what I was thinking. Did they do it on purpose? Did they say, "Hey, let's see how the big guy reacts to this"? I've thought of that as well. Were they mad at Tanner? Did Tanner, was he mad? And I still think, and I swear to goodness, I think Tanner's best friend Tommy was there, the vet's son. Was he jealous of Tanner? Were they jealous because Tanner's playing ball and smart as heck and, and a great kid? Did they get in a fight? Why was his nose bloody? Why did he wipe his nose? Why was there hardly any alcohol drank, or and his BACs? All these questions, and we get no answers. And I've asked the detective, and I'd ask him, and I'd email him and say, okay, here's my list of questions. He'd come back and say, oh, I'll get back with you. And then I have a lot of questions, and nothing
yeah,
has been answered. And they would not meet with us when they closed out Tanner's case, because we had a million questions, and they knew it. They knew that they couldn't sit across from us, Howard County Sheriff's Department of Kokomo, Indiana, knew that they couldn't sit across from our family and be honest, because they knew that we would see it. He knows all the questions I've asked. They all did.
and I'm sure that I read somewhere in all of these pages, and this was like a month or so ago. Did they not find blood on the wall on the way up the staircase?
They found scratches.
Scratches. Okay.
And
Okay.
the detective asked me, he goes, well, the detective, the original detective, he's like, he didn't ask me, he told me, he goes, yeah, we've seen some really suspicious, because it's all wood, it was all paneled, like wood, like cedar looking wood. And he goes, there were some strange scuff marks we thought was very strange, kind of fresh. And we asked him about it, Michelle. I'm like, okay, what'd they say? Oh, that just, it happened. We brushed up against it with moving furniture. Okay. And you believe them?
Yeah.
You believe them.
Right.
Well, Michelle, they did say, okay. But we did see that there were blood droplets on the leather couch. And you could see that right by the alcohol bottle. So we're like, well, why didn't you test that blood spot? Why didn't you took a picture? Why didn't you test it to see if it was Tanner's, and they failed Tanner. They failed Tanner. Howard County Sheriff's Department and all of Kokomo, Indiana has failed Tanner Barton.
Yeah. And, back to, not processing the crime scene and stuff, and if there was blood droplets on the couch, it would make you wonder, was Tanner sitting there? Did they try to get him up the stairs when they realized that he was, maybe he had a reaction? We don't know. Did they try to get him up the stairs? But because he was, a football player and he was, he was a certain size, he was not light. It wasn't like, taking a 90-pound girl up the stairs.
Exactly.
It makes me wonder if that is when the scratches, like they try to get up. I'm just thinking, if I was gonna cover a crime and I know somebody's doing not well, and I know that there's illegal substances in the house, I'm going to try to get, if they're still alive, I'm going to try to get them up to the main floor level so you can tell the EMTs, hey, this is a friend of my son's, he came in and then, he was fine and then just boom, he passed out and we don't know what's wrong. You can play the stupid card, And so it makes me wonder, at the bottom of the stairs, did he fall down there? Did they just give up and that's why his foot was on the stair? I mean, everything is so inconsistent when you start reading the interviews.
Yeah, and I didn't tell you about the football party. Did I tell you about the football party that they had
I
the
don't
day
think
after
so.
Tanner died? Okay. So the mom sent emails out to all the football players. And because Marcus felt bad, like everybody was blaming him. So they had this big football party. And I know this for a fact because I have an email. A friend, one of the moms I know, was invited, her son was, and said that, Marcus is feeling bad. We want everybody over here. Could you come? So 5 kids show up. Well, about 3 or 4 football players, because they thought it was going to be like a celebratory, like a memorial type thing for Tanner. Well, 2 of the kids, and these 2 kids went to the police later to talk about what was said to them at this party. They got in there and they said it wasn't even like that. They said they were all laughing and joking and having fun, and they had boxes and boxes of pizzas and Cokes because it was going to be a party. And they said that when they got there, they felt so uncomfortable because they were recreating and reenacting the scene of the crime and walking people down and telling them this is where Tanner died, showing these poor little boys the scene and showed them where Tanner was laying. And they told them that Tanner fell down the stairs and broke his neck. That's what they told these kids at the party. And then at the same party, Marcus was telling these kids, these couple boys, that he'd been up all night drinking with Tanner. But he didn't tell the police that. But he told these witnesses, and these witnesses two kids went in and told the detective everything that they had heard, everything, and they didn't follow up with anything. They just said, well, they didn't do anything. They had all this legitimate, they were there. They told these, and they didn't go back. And I said, okay, go back in and question them, re-question them. And he goes, oh no, we can't do that. We've got to have, 4 or 5 different things to question them with, or we could get in trouble for harassment, Michele. It could be harassment. And I said, there's hundreds of things you could question them about. Oh no, we can get in trouble for harassment. I'm like, it's your job. Oh my God. I get a headache when I.
Oh my God. I didn't know. You had not told me that part before.
Yes.
About the party. Oh my goodness.
Yes. And Tommy was there, Tanner's best friend, the one who's passed. And Tanner's ex, this is why I sometimes think maybe Tommy gave Tanner the drugs. This is another scenario, because Tanner was dating, at one time Tanner was dating this gal that Tommy was now dating when Tanner passed. So Tanner was dating this gal. He broke up with his girlfriend that he called that night at the house, that night. He broke up with her that past his senior year. They got back together, but before they got back together, Tanner started dating this other girl. Well, this other girl now went and got with Tommy, his best friend. Well, Tommy was there, we believe, that night, and Tommy's the one who died a suspicious death. And so could Tanner and Tommy have been fighting over this girl? Like this, Tommy got mad at him because Tanner was dating the girl that he's dating now. I mean, did Tommy drug Tanner because he was mad at him? Did they get in a fight? Why is Tanner's nose bloody? Did Tommy hit him? Were they fighting? Things like that. And I know it's kind of confusing for people if you haven't been at the very beginning of this, but it's things like that I question as well. I've thought about that as well. Or were they fighting over, and I don't want to say her name, were they fighting over her? I don't know.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I've got younger children. Teenagers are stupid. They really are. I've watched mine do the most boneheaded things, and I can see, I'm not saying that, Tommy did it on purpose, but what if or what if somebody else, for another reason, not even, him, decided, oh, let's get, Tanner intoxicated, or whatever, and let's take some pictures of him,
Yeah.
Just try, what I'm saying? Let's just take some, I call them blackmail pictures, but let's just, take some pictures at his expense and, send them to our friends and have a good laugh. I can see somebody doing that and, not having any idea or any intent for what, happened to happen.
Yeah. A lot of thoughts. I've had a lot of thoughts, and the more I've gone through, just listening and having other people process it and bring things up. I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. That could have been. I mean, because we never got an answer. That's the thing. People don't know. Howard County would never talk to us. They just said he died of an Adderall. He had Adderall 3 days, hadn't been sleeping, drank, and had some marijuana. And that's what killed him, and that's what caused him to not reposition himself to breathe. And okay, great. Okay, now show us the proof. Yeah. And that's what we did. So we kept at, okay, show us the proof. If that is what you say killed my son, then you most definitely have to have the proof and the factual information. You've got to show me where Adderall was in his system. You got to show me how the sleep affected it. You got to show me how his heart went. Show me. And that's what he kept, just show us. That's why they wouldn't meet with us. Because they know that we would ask them questions. Because and to this day, they've not talked to us. They've lawyered up.
I just, it's mind-boggling that somebody can get an attorney and not have to go through a police interview. I,
Mhm.
I it's, I don't know. I,
I know, right?
I didn't
Or,
know that was even possible.
or the sheriff's department. They're the ones who's lawyered up. They don't even have to talk to us now. They are not permitted to speak with us. They're not allowed to speak with us. They have lawyered up. And you see what I'm doing? I'm not doing anything but asking questions and putting facts out there. I'm not sitting here calling them, blah, blah, blah. I'm a little more professional that now I have my things behind the scenes, I say, but I'm a little more professional. And all I've done is ask questions. That's all our family has done. And that's all we want is answers. And because they can't provide them, and because we found out the detective is biased in his own words, we know now that they lawyered up. They lawyered up pretty damn quick. They lawyered up the whole community. Even the city commissioners are not allowed to speak with us. They've been threatened with their jobs if they speak with us.
And I mean, that shows corruption right there. If you people do not see the hand of corruption in this, that ought to tell you right there. Something is wrong. They're covering it up. Nobody's allowed to talk about it. I mean, what kind of case is this? This is they clearly did not investigate this case at all as a crime scene. Not before, during, afterwards. It seems like everybody just had a little bit of money or clout or whatever thrown around, and they just said, okay, we're going to hush this up. And we're going to say, oh, well, he unfortunately just died of asphyxiation.
Yeah. He died of SIDS.
Yeah.
That's what they're telling us. Basically, my 19-year-old son died of SIDS because there was nothing in his system.
Right.
Nothing, and so that's what we said. So basically, my son died of SIDS. I said, so his body, he decided not to be able to reposition himself at 19 at a home, whereas known drug dealers are not drug dealers. Well, we heard he was okay. We heard things there as well, and I'll talk to you about that later, and then we can bring that up later. But
okay,
people have lost their license to ketamine, which causes you not to reposition yourself to breathe, which causes you to basically die of SIDS. But he didn't die 19 years prior. It was only on that night that person was at that house.
Yeah.
And this is a known party. That's when I said, okay, I've got land for you in Florida.
Yeah.
I'll
yeah. I mean,
they think we're dumb. They think we're dumb. We're smarter than them. They think they have all this training and stuff. No, dude, we see. We're better. Moms are better FBI agents than anybody.
Oh, absolutely. Or girlfriends or wives who suspect their lover of cheating. Yeah, we're the best detectives. I'm not even going to tell you what lengths I've gone to before. It's I've gone to some. I'm going to play a little bit of. We're going to go. I've got some excerpts from Michele's interview, and then I think Michele and Marcus, I think, is who I have, because the whole other video I want to do is nothing but Jeff Linskog, and that is the father of well, this is the house where it was a family of, it was her kids and his kids, but everybody was living there. So, but he was the head of the household, Carol and Jeff Linskog, for those who do not know the names. And I've got his, but let's listen to a little bit of Michele.
Horse playing or wrestling with anybody earlier in the evening, anything like that?
No.
Doing anything crazy?
No.
No?
Will let us taste alcohol. Like, I've tasted wine before, but they would never let me have my own glass or have my own bottle of beer or fruit drink.
yourself, but
They'll let me taste theirs, yes.
Okay, I understand that.
Please help me find the strength. Can you please help me? My honesty. I'm being so honest as best as I can. Lord, please help me with this. I need your strength. I need your strength.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because what happens is the officer has to leave the room. While he's gone and she's in the interview room, I guess she doesn't realize that, they can hear what she's saying. Hey, CJ. She starts this praying. And look, this is, I think, one of the most sincere things that, is said in any of these interviews. And you hear what she's saying, like she's praying for strength to be able to tell the truth,
But
which,
she wasn't allowed to.
Right. And so let me go back. I'll tell you what, let me see if I can back that up just a little bit. And let's listen to it again. Okay.
Own bottle of beer or fruit drink.
Yourself, but
They'll let me taste theirs, yes.
Okay, I understand that.
Please help me find the strength. Can you please help me? My honesty. I'm being so honest as best as I can. Lord, please help me with this. I need your strength. I need your strength.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the thing that she's praying for God to help her with her honesty.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't say it all. I mean, I'm not saying that she is directly involved, that she did anything, but it tells me that at least she knows who did. And she knows exactly what happened.
And she was told not to speak, and this is the story you go with. And she was praying to God to help her with honesty. That's sad. That's sad that they would put that on that little 16-year-old or 15.
Yeah, exactly.
15-year-old girl.
Can you
And that's
imagine?
what they did. No. And that's what they did. Look, not one adult made a phone call to legal authorities. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they called. Nobody called. And Tommy called me. Marcus called the police. And then when we tried to talk to them, they kept, putting it up to the kids. These adults are they're guilty of just hiding everything. They knew what happened. And then to have her say, help me with my honesty. Yeah, you knew because you were lying and you're praying to God to help you because you don't want to mess up because you're trying to remember the story that was told. Shame on them.
Yeah, exactly. Shame on them for. I can't imagine putting something like that on my kids because I guess the parents are thinking, while they're underage, they're minors. If they, if we have them say this and it's the wrong thing, I don't know if they're going to be prosecuted. At least they're minors. I don't know what they were thinking. Honestly, these two adults, Jeff and Carol, they act more like kids than anybody else in these interviews. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's disgusting. And you'll see, and even the detective told us, these are like adults who are living through their kids. They're like teenagers. They're like trying to be the cool parents and want to live through their kids and have everybody come over and think they're like cool kids. Oh yeah, wait till you see Carol sitting with her legs crossed Indian style, like she's at a slumber party telling a story.
Oh yeah. We won't get to that tonight, but yeah,
No, but yeah.
that's something else. And I've got her interview in all those papers too. I'm just waiting on the audio because that's the thing, and that's why I wanted to bring this up again, because it's one thing for Michelle and I to sit and discuss this and say, well, she said and he said, but when you hear it in their own voice, to me, it says a whole lot more.
Yes. And that's
right.
when, yeah, and when I, for the first time seen that, I'm like, how are these people not in prison? How are they not in jail? How did you not see that they are lying? Oh, when I first seen that, it was rough. When I seen her sitting like she was sitting, oh my God. And then when I seen Marcus, yeah, you'll know when everybody sees it, when we finally get to show that. Once I get these files back, yeah, you're gonna see it.
And the thing of it, that reminds me, sitting with the legs crossed and all that, that reminds me of the interview of Lori Vallow. And if that wasn't Three Ring Circus, I don't know what was. I don't know if you saw that, Michelle, but that's just crazy.
Did she do the same thing, sit like that?
Well, she sat with one leg under her bottom, and and she was very animated and talking. She was kind of flirty and giggly.
Yes, that's what girl, yes.
And then the officer left, and then she sat in the chair with her like Indian style. You know? And she was still just it was unbelievable. It's like she was,
they're
auditioning for a part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. People that can do that are narcissistic. And
yes,
if you were, because if it was me, I'd be sitting here, oh my God, my legs would be shaking. I'd be, oh my God, I'd be rocking back and forth. Oh my God. I mean, just like, I don't know. Not these, they're too calm, cool, and collective, which means to me, they knew that they were protected.
Yeah.
To me, it looks as though they know, just get the statement out of the way. We got your back. We got it. And that's why the toxicology is all conflicting. That's why everything, there was hardly an autopsy. And I think they knew. They knew, just go in there and give a statement. Best you can. Best you can.
Yeah. It's disgusting. It's disgusting on the parents' part. I'm not even faulting the kids because yes, they are old enough to know better, but at the same time, they're very easily influenced at that age, especially when they are still so dependent on their parents. But, you've got two parents, and then the veterinarian who's involved, who are acting crazy, and then you've got law enforcement, shutting everything down. You can just see it. It's like it doesn't take a genius to figure out what happened here. My question is, why was it allowed to continue all these years, refused to open the case, yeah.
And then now it's closed, so now we're fighting to get it reopened because they closed it, with their, of course, with their, whatever, false, whatever. They just closed it without any new evidence. And, so now we got to fight to get it reopened. And we got a good fight. I mean, when you see what all we had received, we have a good fight. We have a great fight to get it reopened. It's just getting it to the right person to help us. And you see what the last person did. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I am truly so sorry about that.
You don't even know where that put me in my life, my mental, that dropped me down. Just like when they closed Tanner's case, it dropped me to that level of just not depression. It just took me to another level of ugh.
And for y'all that don't know, Michelle's been doing this since 2012. She's been on the Dr. Oz show. Were you on Dr. Phil?
No, I was going to go to Dr. Phil, but Dr. Cooney backed out.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I read that somewhere
That's a whole
today.
nother story. We need to do a whole Dr. Cooney episode and tell all the stuff about all that. That's
Absolutely. So that's why, y'all, if you can share Michelle's story, if there's anything that you can do on a Facebook group, on, Reddit, on wherever you can share this story, because here's the thing, she's been beating her head against the wall for all these years with all this evidence that clearly shows corruption, manipulation. It clearly shows that Tanner, his death was not natural, and you can pretty much tell by all the characters involved, and yet the police refuse to do anything according to protocol. It's just like when I was thinking about, the case file that you sent me, and there is no evidence, but when I was looking through, actually on CJ's show, he was looking through all of the paperwork on Stephen Smith, and I mean, every little thing it shows the chain of custody. It shows what the object was, who signed it in, if somebody signed it out for a reason, who that was, when it came back in. But Tanner has none of that. There's nothing in that house and there's no paperwork to show where it came in, what it was, and what happened to it.
Nope. No chain of command, no order to destroy. I asked for that. I asked, we don't need to give you that, Michele. It doesn't matter. We don't need to give you that. I've asked for everything. I've asked throughout the years. And and then with this, I mean, what we have, there's no order to destroy, the chain of command of order to destroy samples. There's none of this stuff that's in those case files. So who was given the right to destroy my son's samples? Who was given the command to do it? When we sat there and asked them forever to have everything retested.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a blatant disregard for justice that I don't understand why other agencies or other authorities haven't said to Kokomo, hey, what are you doing? I don't know why they weren't reprimanded. I don't know why somebody, and I don't even just mean the perpetrator of that night. Why hasn't somebody in law enforcement been held accountable for this case being so messed up from the very beginning?
From the very beginning, from the get-go, it was covered up. From the get-go.
Yeah.
And what's so frustrating is all these years of me beating my head into just on top of grieving, fighting to get justice for my son, fighting just for the truth, and them knowing this whole time. They knew exactly what happened the whole time. And to allow a family and a community and the friends to sit there and go, what? We don't know. No. This kind of stuff's got to stop.
Yeah. I mean, because it was Michelle's kid in 2012, but in 2023, what if it is your kid? And they already have a precedence. You already know what's going to happen if it is anybody who has any stature or money in the community. Guess what? They're never going to come to justice in Kokomo, Indiana. Not going to happen.
No. You're not.
And this is why I want to keep just hammering on this case, hoping that other people will pick it up, and say, hey, let's be a voice for Michele. It's ridiculous that you've had to go through this and even had international attention, you know, like from Dr. Oz and stuff. And then that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother. Nancy Grace.
Yeah, I forgot about Nancy Grace. Yeah.
They're the reason why Tanner's case is closed.
Yeah.
They're included in the closing of Tanner's case. That's a whole nother episode. And that's a whole other 2 hours.
we should do one segment of this just on the different media coverage that you've had that have been forced or for whatever stupid reason, you know, money. It comes down to money a lot of times, y'all. Oh, I'm shocked. That's a shocker because we know that doesn't happen in Indiana. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
But I will tell you, Kira Kinney, the news gal that you played a segment of, the best. She is the best. I love her dearly. She does so much for cases in Indiana. She does so much for people in Indiana. She is amazing. I love that gal to death. And she'll every now and then, hey, how's it going? You know, is there anything new? And and if I need anything on the news, I just contact her and she's there. So
awesome. Yeah. I'm glad you got somebody in your corner. I really do.
Yeah, she's been great.
I'm gonna play a little bit more just because I'm trying to keep this at 2 hours. You know, we don't, I'm not using Evie much, so we're not going to turn into a pumpkin if we go over. But I'm trying to get it all in here because I know other people have stuff going on. So let me play some more of Michele's interview.
And then we'll just be quiet.
Okay.
Actually watch him do this?
I watched the TV for a second, and I look over, and then he got up on the thing, and then...
Okay, did you hear the noise and then look over?
No, I saw him get up and stagger, then I looked at the TV for a second, because it was like a bomb scene or something that's distracting to me, and
okay, hang on real quick.
Got on the stairs when I turned back to him.
This is a thing that I've always asked. I watched the TV for a second, and I look over, and then he got up on the thing, and that what thing did my son get up on? Did you see that?
Yeah.
What thing did he get up on?
Did she mean the stairs that they say he tried to climb?
Stairs. Nah. And I look over and he got up on the thing. And that what thing? I mean, you're sober, so you're not going to say a thing. You're going to say a stairs. Okay. Did you hear the noise and then look over? Okay. So what was he on? What? And this is why I think they're hiding what really happened to Tanner, because in his, like you said, he is bruised and he has blood pooling from like a certain area. It's not like a consistent of him laying on his side. It's like blood pooling, like he had fallen and bruised himself. So what thing was he on that? Because you're not gonna say, and then he got up on the thing. You're gonna say, then he got up on the stair. He left to get up on and go to the stairs. Yeah, because he says, okay, he goes to the steps, and you say you actually watch him do this. I watched the TV for a second. I go over and he got up on the thing, and that's what I keep asking. What thing did he get up on?
Right.
Because they called it an accident, and in this you'll hear Detective Shirey say, during the accident, what accident? Why is my son's nose bloody? What accident?
Right, because his neck wasn't broken.
Mm-mm. Well, that we know of, they say they took x-rays, but they said his neck was short, and that's what caused him to die. His neck was short. I'm like, okay, his neck's been long, but if you're going to call it short, why did he die 19 years later at a veterinarian's, lover's house who did ketamine. Okay,
Yeah.
so now all of a sudden his neck's short. But if you see it, I mean, pictures of him, his neck's normal. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh my God.
But I needed to point that out because got up on the thing.
Yeah.
And
What?
she
Yeah.
got confused because she would have said the stairs. She wouldn't have said the thing.
And he didn't catch that. He just let her get by with that.
Because he's stupid. In my opinion. My opinion.
It's a prerequisite to work in Indiana. I'm sorry, y'all,
Yes.
Indiana folks. Y'all subscribers and Discord people that I talk to all the time from Indiana, I'm sorry. Y'all are not. I exclude you from this. Let's just say
Yes.
it. It's a common problem. Okay.
And he looked over at me, and then he fell.
He fell. And you say he kind of turned off to one side and came and landed on his
Left.
He landed on his left side. And then you went to him.
Yes, I went to him.
And you talked to him?
I'm not. He didn't respond. I'm like, Tanner. I thought he passed out.
But he never spoke again after that.
No.
And you checked his pulse. And where did you check his pulse at?
On his hand, but I couldn't grasp. Like, I felt it, but I couldn't. Like, it wasn't responding with my brain.
Help me understand.
I felt it. Like, I felt it move. I think that was his pulse. It wasn't responding with my brain. I felt it move. It was either his hand or his pulse. I thought he was still alive, and I thought he was just passed out.
So you're not really sure if there was a pulse at that time?
I'm pretty sure it was. But I don't know.
Okay. And all I'm trying to do is get what you remember.
I know,
That's all.
I'm sorry. I wish I had more.
Okay, for a second. Do you see how frustrated she is?
Yeah.
Because she can't tell the truth.
Exactly.
Because she's like, I don't know. If you know, because if you were there, you would know. And you would be crying, and this happened, instead of, I don't know. No, you know. But you don't know because you were told what to say. And did you hear how quickly she came back? I checked his pulse on his arm. Well, her mom, and I'm going to give you this statement when we get our stuff, actually came back to the detective and said, my daughter wants to change her story. She actually checked his pulse. She actually listened to his heart. She put her head underneath his shirt and listened to his heart. She didn't put that in there. But that's coming. We have all that. And that's the mom telling the detective her daughter wants to change her story.
I mean, why is that allowed, really? You know?
Exactly. Well, see, and what they're saying is because we kept saying Tanner's shirt was pulled up to his side. Why was Tanner's shirt pulled up to his side? We said, because if he had fallen, his shirt wouldn't have fallen up all the way up where it was.
Right.
And so what they came back with, and this wasn't long after that, when we listened to the phone conversation between Carol Lynn-Skoog and Detective Shirey or Hargrove, I can't remember which one, and I'm not going to say because I'm not for sure which one, but she says she wants to come back in and change her story because she really, what happened was he fell and she went and put her head, lifted his shirt and put her head up under his shirt and put her head here and tried to listen for his heartbeat. Now, why wouldn't you have told the detective here?
Exactly.
Why are we all coming back? Because see what they're doing is they're seeing stuff that we know, and so now they're making up a different story. No, this is your original story. You can't deter from this. This is what happened the day of.
Yeah, because, I mean, in this, I understand that she's distraught and everything, but in this interview, I mean, it's clear that she's saying, I'm not sure. Well, okay, if you think that somebody could possibly be having a serious issue, you either feel a pulse or you don't. Or, she could have said, I couldn't tell on his arm. Some piece, especially if his pulse was weak, it would have been harder to tell. But, I listened, she could have then told the detective, yeah, well, I listened with my ears. I put my head on his chest and I could hear his heartbeat. You
Yeah.
would know something then, well, I think he had a pulse. I'm not sure, you know, but I think
But
he
she
did.
doesn't. Yeah, and here she's like, sorry, I'm pretty sure it was, but I don't know. Okay, and all I'm trying, I don't know. I'm sorry. No, you would know if you put your hand, and it was kind of like something like, and I felt it like move, and I think, but I don't know. No, she's lying,
Yeah.
and that's what he told me, Michelle. They have they've all lied, and we don't believe a single one of them.
Yeah.
This was the original detective a couple weeks after he interviewed them all. He said they formulated a story. We know it. We don't believe one of them.
Right. I mean, jeez.
But then why didn't he bring him back in for a second interview after you got the toxicology, after you got all the reports back? Why didn't he bring him back in and say, okay, now?
I'm guessing it is because he was told not to.
Yep.
Yep. With
Mhm.
whatever avenue, whether it was with money, a payoff, or clout, or a threat, even, that happens.
And that time it was Sheriff Rogers, and there was a lot of money being passed around in the community at that time. So
yeah, so there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was never handled as an investigative case. It's crap.
No.
It's crap.
Yeah. Mhm. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm sorry. I just
Oh,
had to stop.
no.
I think everybody needs to hear how she's like, I don't
Yeah.
know. If you knew, you would go, and then this happened, and then this happened. Not, I don't know. No, you would know because you were there. If you were there, you would know.
Yes, you would
She
know.
wasn't there. I don't believe she was there at all. She
And
was
then-
told what to say.
Yeah. Oh, so you don't think she was there at all?
I don't think she was there when it all happened. I think that she was asleep and they woke her up. And she was told the story to tell. No, I believe Marcus was up. I believe the parents were up, and I believe Tommy was there. And then whatever other girls were up. I think Kirsten most definitely was there.
Here's the thing. Why are they letting kids check for pulses? Not that they're necessarily incompetent, but why are you letting somebody else underage, not a professional, okay? Not a doctor or a nurse, but you're asking your kids, well, she said he had a pulse.
Yeah.
As a parent, in the house, now Jeff said he took Ambien, so if that is true, he was probably in La La Land.
He wouldn't even be up until 12 hours later. My dad took the same thing, and you would be out forever. He didn't take Ambien. He didn't take it. Why didn't they test him? Here's my thing, and that's what everybody keeps asking. Why didn't they test these kids for alcohol and drugs? Why didn't they test the parents for alcohol and drugs? Somebody died at your house, and you're not going to test the family, the people that were there for drugs and alcohol?
Yeah.
Why would they test it?
It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever.
And this is a suspicious death. This wasn't just a death. The coroner told us it was a highly suspicious death. So did the detectives, the pathologists. We were in a meeting with them all, and they said this is a highly suspicious death. They have no answers, and they're not closing this case.
Yeah, it's highly suspicious, but oh well, we're done. We're done.
We were told.
It's beyond infuriating.
It's the protecting of the thin blue line. There's cops that were involved, and they knew that they got their fingers caught in it, and they were like, everybody be quiet. Let this family suffer for eternity and not know anything, but you're going to be cleared.
Yeah. This kind of injustice makes me so mad. Yeah, they don't care. Just as long as the
Our
people that
lives
need
have
to be
been-
protected. Yeah.
Yes. And our lives have been just like, stopped, halted. I could have been grieving my son and doing positive things, which I'm not doing positive things, but I mean, like, I could have been doing like, memorials. I could have been, doing funds and getting groups done, and I could have been had I known, but I was forced to fight to find answers
Yeah.
instead of memorializing him, getting things done that could help other athletes do this, and I would have, but I was forced to fight to get justice and fight to get the truth.
Well, it's like everybody you have reached out to, from the national media to other YouTubers to other podcasters, whatever, you have been let down so many times. They've said, oh yeah, we're going to help you, and then all of a sudden it's shut down, and you have to ask why. Now, I know, like we talked about, in some cases it is a money thing, but then I think we talked a little bit about some maybe threats or some stuff.
Because people don't get, because when your case becomes kind of high profile, which Tanner's was for a while, people become possessive. They become possessive of your story and that story, and they turn against you if you seek other people to help you because they feel like this is theirs when it's not, or they don't get what they want from you, or they feel they're jealous because somebody else is coming in and putting it out there. And like I said, I'm like the coolest person. I don't care. As long as somebody's going to help, I want everybody. And that's what I always say. I don't care who you are. Let's all work together with it. Right. Because the more eyes we have on it, the more people we have, the better chances of your group of people and their group of people coming together is huge. So let's get everybody together and get on the same page. But there's a lot of people that aren't like that. And they get really jealous, possessive, and then they turn on you, which I've had several times. And the last two that I've had destroyed Tanner's case and pretty much set me back a lot. So not money, but like mental and physical and. But yeah, so anyways, I'm sorry, y'all. This is, we're listening to Michele's stuff, so I don't want everybody to think I'm just sitting here.
No, we've only got a couple of minutes, and then after the show, there's something I want to talk to you about that happened while we're on here, so.
Okay.
All right. It's good.
And then at that point, you felt there was a pulse.
Yes. And I went back to sleep. Oh, I didn't go back to sleep. I just went to sleep.
And you heard him snoring.
Yeah.
How long would you say he was doing that?
A minute or two.
That's it?
Not very long. Now that I look back on it, that's probably a signal that I should have done.
No other noises after that at all?
No.
And you awoke, and when you woke up, he was still laying there? And what time was that?
I don't know. I didn't see the clock till after the police came, which was like 10.
Oh, so you didn't get out of bed again until the police came?
No, I was on the couch, and I got up, and I went over to him, because usually he would probably be up or in the shower. And I tried to wake him up, and then I went and got Jeff and Marcus.
Okay. So you didn't go, so that would have been roughly 9-ish.
Probably, yeah.
So he was probably laying there 5 hours, maybe. And you didn't go to bed, or I'm sorry, you didn't get up and go to the bathroom?
No, I didn't.
Sorry.
So when you went to bed, 3:30, whatever that was, and after you thought that he had a pulse, and then you went to sleep, then you did not get back out of bed again until the 9-ish time when you and you went up and then you saw him, and then went from there. And you've never known him to ever drink in that house before?
Not that I've known of, no. But like the occasional sips, like my parents would let him have sips of their wine if they were sipping, like just like a normal child.
Allow Tanner
Yeah.
to do that as well.
But not that I've never seen him.
Okay. You guys drink together?
I haven't.
You've never drank with him?
I had one beer, 2 beers.
When was this?
Last year in the summer.
So he's never drank at your house, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure about that? Okay. Did he come over yesterday?
Yeah.
About what time?
Around 10:30, 10:40.
Okay. And why did he come?
Just to hang out. I heard Michele say to Jeff that Tanner's downstairs and his face is blue. So I ran out of bed and I got down there and there it was. So I called the cop.
Were you drinking with them at any point?
I was asleep.
Had you ever drank with them?
Mm-hmm. My sister's never drank before.
She's never drank before.
You notice how he
Had
brought
you
his
ever
sister
drank
in?
with him?
Have I?
Notice how he went?
Do you notice how he brought his sister? And she's never drank with him. My sister,
Yeah.
nobody asked him anything, but he brought it in. Oh, my sister's never drank. Why would you bring your sister into? Nobody's asked you about your sister.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
Had you ever
this
drank
is-
with them?
I'm going to run it
You
back.
don't? My sister never drank before. Well, why would you say your sister's never drank before? Why would you bring her into the conversation?
Yeah. I'm going to run it back just to, wait, that's too far.
See, when people are lying, they embellish.
That's true. And we're in the last couple of seconds of this segment.
Right.
And so, but yeah, listen to what Michelle's saying. What do y'all
At
think?
any point?
I was asleep.
Had you ever drank with them?
Mm-hmm.
You
My
know,
sister's never drank before.
She's never drank before. And had you ever drank with him?
Have I?
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 times, actually.
Just on 2 different occasions.
Okay.
So you see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, exactly. That is exactly, you're absolutely right. Nobody said anything about her. Oh, now I'm pale. I mean, now I'm dark.
Good.
I'm
You
dark.
look sunshiny. Look good.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, there you go. Listening in, like I said before, listening in somebody's own words it's a lot different than reading this on, because we had talked about reading it, which I still may do, but there's a whole different dynamic when you hear them talking about it themselves and their attitude. You can tell emotionally, whatever, and it's pretty sad and sometimes disgusting.
Especially Marcus. His
Yeah.
was so cocky and so, for somebody who lost their best friend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. Jeez. So, I mean, next time we'll go ahead and we'll listen to a lot longer segment of Jeff's testimony.
Sorry, y'all.
What?
I'm just sorry. I kept popping in, and I'm like, no, I gotta tell you about this.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We got exactly done what we needed to. But yeah, we'll concentrate on Jeff Linskog and how he said what he said, and then you can break it down for us. Again, like I told you, interrupted. It's fine. We want to know, as you're experiencing it and all the ins and outs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're able to give us the details and stuff that we don't know. So absolutely. You just made me thirsty. But yeah, you are one brave woman. If you go back in my comments and the chats, and then even just the comments that more people watch on the replay, you'll see how many people tell you how awesome, how brave, how strong you are. It's amazing. It's amazing, Michele. And has anybody got any last things to say? Because I'm gonna close this one out. Kib Kitty, thank you for being here, Kib Kitty. Thanks, Michele, for all your insight. Yeah, and
No,
fighting.
thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. And go to Tanner's Voice on my Facebook page, Tanner's Voice, and then hit up my TikToks because, I think I'm kind of funny sometimes.
She does have some
stuff.
Yeah, before I did this, I was gonna do like a collage, and maybe I'll do that for the intro next time. I'm gonna swipe some of your TikToks and play them just in succession, before we get into next segment. That's a great idea to do. But anyway, thank y'all so much for listening. Again, yes, join the Facebook group. At least check it out. See if there are things. If you don't feel like you want to be in there every day talking, then find some of the high points, or some of the major things, and just go ahead and share it to your Facebook. Let people see. The more people that we can inform about this, the better chances that we can get this case reopened and settled. It's the squeaky wheel. What do they say? The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Grease or oil or something.
Something like that. Something like that. Let's, just be some squeaky wheels. I can be a squeaky wheel.
Yeah. I was.
Yeah. And I mean, let's not let her do this by herself, y'all. True crime community, we love to dig in stuff and we love to advocate and, let's be a force. She's got a force on Facebook. Let's make this a force like Delphi or like Flora. Well, Flora doesn't even get as much as Delphi, but you know what I'm saying, y'all. It's Kokomo. It's the same stinking groups of people. And the corruption and the Good Old Boys Club and whatever. We've heard about Judge Fouts' club, so we absolutely know what kind of stuff y'all do up in there.
Yeah.
And let me put wait, that's not what I wanted to highlight. I was well, let me get this here. There we go. Michele, don't stop and get your answers. Yeah. Yeah, people behind you. Yeah, we're going to just, we can only do this. Michele and I can only, with our schedules, we can only do this about once every 2 weeks. But, if y'all would, some of the other creators and podcasters, whatever, pick this up, there's no jealousy here. I'm trying. I'm begging y'all. Share her story. Do a video on it. Whatever. Let's do it.
Contact me. I'll walk you through it. We'll share everything we have. I mean, that's the best way to get it out there. So
absolutely.
I would love it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I think my light is dying, and oh yeah, because it's unplugged. I'm like, why am I getting so dark? And I'm starting to see all the, it's the lights up here, so it's the shadows. I'm like, I am getting really funky looking right now with all these shadows. Yeah. You know what? This just proves I should work for the Kokomo PD.
Yeah.
This is how bright I am. Jeez. I could do an interview. Sorry. Y'all. I know there's some good people. All right. All right. I'm going to say good night to you lovely folks. And I'm probably going to call you in just a second, Michele.
Yeah.
And otherwise, we're going to call it a night. Thank you so much again for being here. And whatever you do, stay safe and stay silky. Okay? Yeah. Bye.